Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today we will be installing the Takeda cold air intake from AFE Power. Although today we will only be installing the short ram version of it, as the cold air intake version we need to take out the wheel well, take off a wheel, and take off the bumper for ease. So part 2 of that video will be coming at some point. I have no clue exactly when, but today we are making this engine bay look just a little bit nicer on my 2006 Scion TC. So let's get right to it. Alright, so we got the airbox out, we got a few of the hoses. All we need to do is take this piece out, and then we can start installing the new Takeda intake. Okay, so we got that part out. However, it's being a pain in the butt. This sensor right here, you need to transfer this from the stock intake onto the new one. However, in our case, there's a bolt right there that's hard to get out, so we got the wiring unplugged from there. However, we still need to get this off. Also, the wiring was a pain. So now, won't you look at that? We have frail wires. Who would have thought? Also, strut bar kind of makes it a little bit harder, but not too hard. Throttle body down there, but once we get this sensor off, then we can start putting together the system and then get the installation process going. So now we got the map sensor off of the old intake, and now we have it installed onto the new pipe. So once we do this, we can start putting this pipe in to the car itself. Also, another thing to add really quick, Takeda does provide a instruction manual both on their website and a paper instruction manual on how to install both the short ram intake and the cold air intake. Short ram stops at instruction 11, but then you go all the way to 18 if you're actually installing the cold air intake. So we just need to attach the new pipe to the throttle body, and it will pipe in and be somewhere around here. But it's a lot easier said than done, so let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, so before installing the intake, you have to put this on. It's a spacer for actually attaching the intake, specifically this little hanger of the intake, but you must unscrew a little guider for the original intake in order to get here. So we got this on, so now we should just be able to attach the pipe to the throttle body and then just tighten some stuff down, and then we can get the intake on here and hopefully it works like a charm. Alright, so this isn't final, this is just a mock fit, but we got the pipe on, we got the new intake on. There's not very much clearance between the filter itself and the fender liner. However, with the cold air intake, we will have to end up going down there into the fender well, and the intake will be somewhere over here in the wheel well behind the fender liner. But we'll just get this fastened down and then we'll be done. So finally, after struggling on this for who knows how long, we finally got this little sensor off, and we are going to be using this for some of these hoses, because some of these hoses we cannot attach to the intake itself. Really, there's only one mounting point for a hose, which is somewhere down there. So we will use this to then hold the hoses and whatever else this is for. Main culprit being this little screw right here. It was really tight into this hole, and plus it's not in the best condition, so didn't make it any better. But now we should be able to fully install this, hopefully. And with a long time of struggling, we finally got this on. Main issues were the coupler on the throttle body spacer was a little misaligned, but mainly it was just some fit and finish issues. But now we are ready for the first startup with the new Takeda intake. A little bit of blow off there. Well, wow, that was... Alright, well, I don't think there's any leaks. Sounds good. Mm-hmm. So, kind of has a blow off now. I'm sorry, this is my first time just doing this intake besides on the TRX. But this has been kind of a struggle, but it's been well worth it. Also, forgot to mention this before, but AFE, the company that basically powers Takeda, is the same company that we have the intake on the TRX with, the dual cold air, like wet system. And then, here, let me just go ahead and show you guys. I know I've showed it on my channel before, but for those of you that are new, I mean, AFE basically makes intakes and parts for everything, not just muscle cars and Japanese cars. They make stuff for European cars. Shoot, I've even seen some of these intakes on like Ford Explorers and stuff. But here we have the AFE GT Momentum intake, dual coolers, AFE power. You can see that right here. So that's going to be on your box whenever you get the Takeda intake. But overall, really happy with how it turned out. It was a bit more of a struggle, and once again, this is just the short ram intake. We will have a part 2 coming at some point where we actually install the cold air portion, but in order to do that, we would need to put the intake all the way down into the fender well, which, now that we got all the intake installed, shouldn't be too big of an issue, but I guess we'll just find out when we get there. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this helped you at least understand somewhat how to install the Takeda in short ram intake on the Scion TC. So a bit of a struggle. I mean, its manual says 45 minutes. Took us hour and a half, probably, roughly. But with that, once again, thanks you guys for watching my channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, I'm out. Ciao.